Gyms, spas, and internet cafes in Metro Manila are ordered closed while the region is placed under a stricter General Community Quarantine or GCQ until April 4. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says it's the decision of Metro Manila mayors upon the advice of medical experts. The temporary closure aims to reduce infections in Metro Manila as the government tries to contain the surge of COVID-19 cases. This contradicts the national government's own policy, which allows gyms to operate at 75% capacity and spas to operate at 50% capacity in areas under GCQ. As the new government rules confuse Filipinos, Senate President Vicente Soto III chides his countrymen for criticizing the recent surge in cases. Soto says the government alone cannot be blamed for mismanaging the crisis since the public also became lax in following protocols. Malacanang also dismisses calls to abolish the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases for supposed incompetence. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says it is not the task force's fault that these new variants exist. The task force is in charge of stopping the entry of these variants by temporarily imposing travel restrictions. Despite efforts, the variants managed to enter and spread in the country. Meantime, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere issues a warning amid online selling of Ivermectin, a drug to prevent heartworm disease for animals. Several false posts are circulating online saying Ivermectin can be used to treat COVID-19.
Hopefully po, we use science, we use evidence, and evidence would say na wala po na ipinapakita pa na good outcome ang Ivermectin sa mga trials na naisagawa sa ibang bansa.
A joint statement from 10 medical societies in the Philippines also discourages the use of Ivermectin for COVID-19 treatment. President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday, March 22, refuses to give indemnity to vaccine makers because he claims such power rests only with Congress. But on February 26, Duterte already signed a bill ratified by Congress that provides that indemnity and even creates a fund for it. The indemnity does not cover adverse effects resulting from willful misconduct or gross negligence.
The government cannot guarantee, much less give you an immune status na you are freed of any and all liability. Masyadong mataas na. I think we cannot even do that, even if we wanted to. Yung assumption ng liability for the stocks that are bought from the private sector. Hindi pwede.
But the COVID-19 Vaccination Program Act of 2021, which he signed, states manufacturers shall be immune from suit and liability for claims related to the use of a COVID-19 vaccine. Duterte also says he has a problem with private companies and local governments buying vaccines while government assumes liability for them.
Ang gusto ng mga manufacturers na ang gobyerno, ang private sector magbili, ang gobyerno ang mag-assume ng liability. Hindi ho pwede yung ganon.
The issue crops up when Duterte asks Galvez why private companies cannot buy COVID-19 vaccines on their own. Meantime, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry urges the government to allow businesses to import vaccines directly. The latest decision of the Duterte administration to impose stricter COVID-19 restrictions and force businesses to limit operations again is another blow to the private sector. Business leaders recognize that only a massive vaccination program will bring shoppers back to malls and revive the ailing economy. China denies allegations that maritime militia manned over 200 Chinese fishing vessels spotted near a reef in the West Philippine Sea. In an official statement released Monday, March 22, the Chinese embassy in Manila says the buildup of 220 ships near Julian Felipe Reef is a normal practice of fishing vessels. In its statement, China referred to the reef by its Chinese name and insists it's part of its Nansha Administrative District in the South China Sea. The Philippines in April 2020 protested China's establishment of these so-called administrative districts as an illegal act. Julian Felipe Reef is about 175 nautical miles west of Bataraza, Palawan, putting it within the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines, where Filipinos enjoy sovereign rights over resources. China's description of events contradicts a verified report from the Philippine Coast Guard, which says 220 ships show no signs of actual fishing activities and were spotted with lights turned on at night despite clear weather. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana also slammed the presence of militia ships, describing it a clear provocative action of militarizing the area. China rejects the diplomatic protests, calling the Philippines' actions an unnecessary irritation. Actress Liza Soberano laments the state of the Philippines over a year after the COVID-19 pandemic first reached its shores. On Twitter, Soberano wrote how much her heart bleeds for those who couldn't afford to just stay home. She also asks, is the Philippines really this poor to not afford a stimulus for its people? Soberano also compares the United States' issuance of stimulus checks to its citizens as well as its free vaccination drive. Soberano's tweets come after presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said on Monday, March 23, the government would not be preparing new aid packages. The Philippine economy has fared badly in 2020 with over 4 million Filipinos unemployed as of January 2021. The stricter quarantine began on March 22 and will end on April 4 unless shortened or extended by President Rodrigo Duterte. A video claiming President Rodrigo Duterte fired Senator Ping Lacson is false. YouTube channel DDS News Info falsely claimed this in a video uploaded on Monday, March 22. Duterte has not said anything about firing Lacson. He also never called for the senator to resign from his post in his recent speeches. Firing senators is also not included in the powers of a Philippine president. The video only contains a clip of Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Sal Panelo daring Lacson to resign from his post. Panelo's call for Lacson to resign is in response to the senator saying the government should get competent people to resolve the delays in the delivery of COVID-19 vaccines. This is not the first time Rappler debunked a video uploaded by DDS News Info. In February, it falsely claimed that the government is distributing 10,000 pesos in financial aid to every Filipino affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. That same month, it also falsely claimed Duterte ordered that Smartmatic be replaced as the country's vote counting machine provider.